Hello everyone, how's it going? ElectricVideoGamer here. Welcome to the year 2020. And no, I'm not dead. I've just been kind of burned out. But now I'm back to give you guys the fun little discussions and hopefully the fun little videos that I'm normally associated with. Possibly, maybe. We'll get to that. Alright, and basically my New Year's resolution has been to start back up on videos more consistently. Maybe not overload myself like I did before, because boy did I overload myself. But now I've got a pretty good collection of games, so streaming should come back pretty consistently, and so should Let's Playing, hopefully. I do want to finish Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 because I have finished it. And I just need to upload the videos that are already there and then make the final bit of videos that aren't there yet. So, yeah, just a short update on what's been going on. And in case you can tell by the intro music, I'm working on a little bit of rebranding. Working on trying to make the brand my own instead of trying to take from others, you know? And I'm also trying to be a bit more excitable. Woohoo! Hello! I don't know how that's gonna help, but I'll figure it out. Anywho, that's enough about me. Let's talk about me. So, rumor has been circulating. Leaks have been dropping. I figured what better way to open up the year 2020 than to talk about World War III. No, that's not it. Instead, let's talk about Nintendo Directs. Most specifically, the one that's rumored to be coming early this month, January. And hopefully, if I'm doing this right, this video won't come out as soon as it's announced.
Jesus Christ, great.
So, let's go ahead and get started with predicting the January Direct from Nintendo. And starting off with the day, I believe that it'll probably come, I'm recording this on the 3rd. I think it'll come out on the 8th. So hopefully I have this video up by the 4th. Yeah, I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself right now, aren't I? Either way, I predict that the Direct will come on the 8th. Or the 15th. One or the other. I'm praying for a Wednesday. But yeah. Moving on from that. The Direct could very well come in February as well, but I doubt it. Particularly for reasons that I'll be getting into later. So let's talk about what we know. What we know is coming in 2020, and as such, what they could possibly be talking about in the Nintendo Direct. So far, the games that we know about in 2020, if we talk about exclusives to the Switch, we know about Animal Crossing New Horizons, of course, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, which comes out on the 17th of this month, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which comes out this year, Bravely Default 2, No More Heroes 3, Deadly Premonition 2, and I believe there's one more. Yes, Detective Pikachu 2. That's one that might have flown under your radar a little bit. So yeah, those are what we know as far as games go. And then there's also expansions, of course. Smash Bros. Will continue its DLC. Fire Emblem still has its last bit of DLC to come out, as does Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Right? Though not everything I mentioned here could make it into the Direct. I don't think that the Fire Emblem or the Marvel Ultimate Alliance expansion will make it into this Nintendo Direct. I just don't think so. For all we know, this Direct could just be a mini as well. So, yeah, again, we never know. Moving on. That's the information we know so far. Now, I'm going to start talking about leaks. Things that have leaked. So skip to this time if you want to avoid all leaks. You gone? Good. Alright, so recently some Nintendo Switch SKUs have been leaked from GameStop. Apparently they've been there for a while, but apparently they just popped back up again randomly, and now they're kind of getting more exposure. And on top of that, there have been some ratings that have been going on for the Switch, including one of Metro Redux, the compilation of Metro 2033, and what was the second one? I forget what the second one was called. Anywho, it's basically a original Metro compilation that originally released on Xbox 360. So that's cool. And that, I think, will end up in the Direct. I do think so. Alright, leaks, spoilers, over. Now, let's get into good old predictions. First things first, what will the focus of the Direct be? I believe that the focus of this Nintendo Direct will be primarily on Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is coming up in March. I do believe that there will be an Animal Crossing themed Direct before the game releases. But I don't think that's going to stop them from making it more or less the focus of this one. I go back to thinking about Smash Brothers and how it got a lot of exposure before it came out. And Animal Crossing is pretty big. And I speak as someone who has never played an Animal Crossing game in my entire life. So, obviously I would know. Clearly. But yeah, Animal Crossing is pretty big. I've learned that now. So, I'd imagine they're going to try to give that as much exposure as they can. Let's see. No More Heroes 3, I think, is ramping up. I think it's ramping up in its development. So I do believe they might talk about it a little bit in this Direct. Or show a little bit of it. We might even get a date. I think it's a little too early for a date, actually, because they just showed it at the Game Awards. It's only been like a month. They couldn't possibly have a date after like a month of showing it again. Hopefully. Well, maybe they do. We'll hope. What I do believe they'll have a date for, though, is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I think we'll get an extended look at that, much like we did like at Dragon Quest XI last year. I think we'll get an extended look at Xenoblade Definitive Edition. And it's going to look amazing because it's Xenoblade. That's kind of its job. We'll get a look at some of the originally cut content that they brought back. It'll be pretty awesome, I think. And I predict that it will come out sometime in the summer. Probably June. Can you imagine Xenoblade as a June game? That'd be amazing. And then beyond that, let's see. I believe they'll probably give a brief mention of some other games that are coming, such as Panzer Dragoon Remake. Deadly Premonition 2 is kind of here or there. I think it will come in 2020, but I don't think it'll come early. And I believe that when it does come out, there will be a Direct and it'll be shadow dropped, like the first one was. I could be wrong, but it's a possibility. It's not really that big. I mentioned Detective Pikachu 2 earlier, because that was announced in the Pokemon press conference last year. Can't believe I'm talking about 2019 saying last year. That will probably be revealed in a Pokemon Direct. I don't think it'll be revealed in a Nintendo Direct. It could be. It could be. It could be. Like, normally, I would say Pokemon does their own thing, so all things Pokemon are relegated to their own thing. Detective Pikachu, I feel, is in that gray area of Pokemon Company could do it, but also Nintendo could. So you never know. But I predict that it won't be there. I predict that we will probably see a bit more of Bravely Default 2. Just a little bit more. And perhaps, this is just wishful thinking, I suppose, but we will probably get like a Bravely Default Bravely Second pack that gets confirmed for Switch, and probably release that day. That would be crazy. That's a lot to throw at us, though. Considering, again, it was just announced last month. So I guess that does bring some doubt to it. Smash Brothers. We will get our fifth and final Fighter Pass DLC character. And I predict that it will either be Geno from Super Mario RPG or Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes. I don't think that they will do... I was hoping for like Doom Guy or Master Chief or Leon, because we need some representation of other genres. I would like some representation of other genres anyway. I can't say we need. But yeah, I think Travis or Gino are solid guesses. And I know people are like, well, what about a female? There hasn't been any female characters released. Just like with me thinking about a first-person shooter character or a horror game character, they don't care. It doesn't matter. They're just grabbing characters and throwing them into this Mugen at this point. They don't care about all of the stuff that we want them to care. We think they should care about. So, just let them be. Moving on from that. Oh yeah, I think there will be a tease for the next character. I do think that there will be a slight tease for the next character. The first Fire Pass character. And I think they'll do us like they did Mewtwo back in Smash 4. Where they give us like a little bit of a model. And I'm pretty sure the first character that they're going to do with this extra characters thing is Rex and Pyra. I highly doubt it'll be anyone else but Rex and Pyra. Sakurai wanted them in the game originally, but it was too late. They were too deep into development. And that's why they gave us the Mii costume beforehand. And they couldn't get them for DLC either. Now that we have extra DLC though, it's on the table completely. So yeah, Rex and Pyra, I would be surprised if it wasn't them, actually. Those predictions were entirely based on like what we know. I think I already mentioned Panzer Dragoon and Trials of Mana and all of those. So yeah, that's based on what we know. What about what we don't know? What about the surprises? Recently I watched Arlo's prediction video based on like predictions for the entirety of 2020, not just the direct in January. But there was one thing that I resonated with him on. And I don't usually resonate with him. And that's that the very first reveal we get of the year will be Pikmin 4. I firmly believe that's true. I really don't doubt that, honestly. Like, one, it's time. Miyamoto talked about Pikmin 4 years ago. At this point, yeah, it's crazy that we haven't gotten Pikmin 4 yet. Or anything Pikmin in the last, 7 years now? 6 or 7 years? That's crazy. So yeah, I firmly believe that Pikmin 4 will be the first game that they reveal this year. Much like Mario Maker 2 was last year. I don't know if it'll be everything Arlo described it to be, but Then again, I don't really know much about Pikmin in general. So it's all over the place, I suppose. Next up, I predict that we will get a Mario game of some sort. Last Direct, we didn't get anything Mario related. This one, I think we will. What will it be? I'm betting on Mario Golf. Camelot was hard at work with Mario Tennis Aces. It's a much better game now than it was before. I'll admit, I did get bored with it pretty quickly, but it's still a lot of fun to just pull out and play with friends every once in a while. Either way, Mario Golf, I think, will come from Camelot early in the year. Probably in like August, or not August. That's not early in the year, you idiot. I meant April. I think Mario Golf will come out in April, and they'll reveal it in the January Direct. Beyond that, I don't see anything else Mario related coming. They could very well say, hey, we're doing the 3D World, Mario 3D World port, which I do think will happen this year, but I don't know if it will happen early this year. Because if it would happen early this year, they would have announced it last year. That's how I feel about it anyway. Let's talk about third-party games and games that will be ported. I think that it will finally get some of the ports based on, I'm thinking like the Xbox Game Pass, all those games that are now coming to Game Pass, the Yakuza games, the Kingdom Hearts games and all that. I think we'll start to see some of those come to Switch as well. because I don't think they'll move them to Xbox and then not move them to Nintendo. So I think we will start to see Kingdom Hearts and Yakuza come to Switch, and those will be we'll get our glimpse of that in this Direct. I do think so. Nintendo is running out of IPs to kind of use right now, so I think we're due for a couple of things. One, I think we're due for Wario. WarioWare, what was it called? WarioWare Gold. That's right. That came out in 2018. So 2020, I think it's time for a new WarioWare, made by the devs that did like the Rhythm Heaven and WarioWare series, right? I think it is Intelligent Systems actually. But either way, I think it is time for that. The one more thing that they'll probably do at the end of the Direct, my guess is Paper Mario. My guess is that that'll be a brand new Paper Mario, and it'll be reminiscent of what we've seen from Thousand Year Door, the original, all of that. But it'll be more in the style of Color Splash, which I would be totally down for. I'm already hyping myself up from that, and it's just a prediction. But yeah, I do think that Paper Mario will be the one more thing. Zelda. I don't think we'll see anything Zelda here. I don't. Does that mean that there won't be Zelda this year? No. I'll get to that later. And I think I mentioned Metroid earlier. Yeah, Metroid. Here. I'm just going to keep predicting it until it comes at this point. But Prime Trilogy. I do think there will be a port announced. I think Prime Trilogy will be it. Probably. Hopefully. Please. I mean, at this point, they shouldn't just wait, you know? They should not just wait. There's other games that I have in mind too, such as Shin Megami Tensei 5. I don't think it'll be at a Direct. I think Atlas will handle the announcement, or the re-announcement of that themselves. So I don't think it'll appear in a Nintendo Direct. Bayonetta 3, I think, will come in 2020, but I'm not exactly confident in saying it'll appear in this Direct. March Direct? Maybe. This one? Not sure. I don't know why I said March. Spring Direct. Let's try that. Spring Direct. Maybe. But this one, I'm not sure. I don't think so. Of course, Pokemon. We always get a Pokemon pretty much every year. I'm hoping that they take a break this year. That would be awesome if they just spent an extra year to increase development time on their next project after all the backlash of the last one. But there probably will be another Pokemon game this year, but they won't talk about it here. They won't talk about it in January. Breath of the Wild 2, I believe, will come out this year. Yes, that's right, guys. I am predicting that Bayonetta 3, Metroid, or not Metroid, please. Now, by that point, I'm crazy. Well, I'm already crazy, but you get what I'm saying. But yeah, I believe that Bayonetta 3, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Breath of the Wild 2, and a Paper Mario reminiscent of the older ones, the originals, will all come out this year. Yeah, I'm insane. I get it. But that's what I predict. I don't think they'll all show up in the Direct, but I do predict that that will happen, and this will go down as like one of the best years Nintendo ever had for the Switch and everything. So here's the thing. The reason why I'm predicting this is because Nintendo needs some way to counteract the release of the next generation of consoles. And I don't believe that they would do it with hardware, because they're Nintendo. They don't do what's smart. So they'll do it with games. And what better way to do it with games than with releasing Breath of the Wild again with Strike Lightning twice. Obviously it works. And then also piling it on with Bayonetta and Paper Mario and Xenoblade and Shin Megami Tensei and No More Heroes. A lot of hardcore games coming out this year too, or what people would call hardcore games. But even then, you still got Animal Crossing early in the year, so those guys are set for life too. I don't know, just some crazy stuff. Aside from that, let me get into some wild predictions that could show up. A new wave race. That's what I would predict. I'm gonna go a little wild here. A new wave race, I think, will show up in the Direct. I also think a new Sin and Punishment will show up in the Direct as well. Boom. Crazy. Crazy. Can you imagine a new Sin and Punishment? That'd be crazy. I think we will get some sort of mini-game type of game. I mentioned Wario earlier, so WarioWare or Wario Land is very likely here. If it's not WarioWare though, and it is Wario Land, then I think we'll get some other kind of minigame compilation kind of game. So more along the lines of NES Remix. There we go. I do think there will be some hook for the online service as well revealed. What will that be? I don't know. We got Tetris Battle Royale last year, so who knows at this point. And yeah, I think I am tapped out. Thank you guys so much for listening to my rambling. And yeah, I'm going to work hard on bringing this channel back from the brink and trying to appeal to a wider demographic. I want to start a Patreon. I want to start, you know, going onto forums and trying to advertise, or Discord, get my Discord set up. I've been kind of brought down lately, burnt out a little bit, but it's a new year. I'm ready to start back up again. So thank you guys so much. Let me know what you think we're going to see in the early year or January presentation. Nintendo Direct presentation. I look forward to hearing what you guys say. Alright everyone, that is it for me. I will catch you guys in the next one. See you later.